I gave birth to nightlife, if I may say so for myself. Immediately after Skeem, I could count more than 22 outlets avuliwe, copycats amanye. So mawufike Tanyani uhlangana ne-group yamadoda, and these are people from all walks of life. Abanye babuye Ghana, abanye babuye China, abanye ni 35 eselinele one, 70 ibhakede li-1. So le ndaba yakho ukuthi bowustrong ngaphandle uNtswembi yaphela. Even esigela ngithi besikwazi ukuthi sifase ithekeni nani khona lebe ine plug nje niyayazi ukuthi noma iyageja mara yena story yaya leya noma diver ibamba kwasana.
Phela, what you did was very big, like the nightlife, like that in Leo. I believe that there's a lot of people that have ideas and a vision. Sometimes some visions are very big and nice, but they just like 2%. The 89% is the work behind it, the capacity. We tap capacity.
I had to decide ukuthi okay ngiyakuphi. Then unfortunately ke ngangena kule ndlela lena mahlabhlaba. Now yangitheshela, abanye batheshela, abanye babhodile ngendlela.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of ABC where we talk about art, business and culture. Today on this episode, we have somebody that's very special, somebody that I wanted to sit with for a very, very long time. This person is a business person, he's a public speaker, he's an author, he's a foundation leader. I don't know how to introduce you, Hotman, but today I'm sitting with Skeem GP, Hotman Etemba. This is such an honor to be with you, Hotman.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Otherwise, before we start this conversation, thank you very much for Tatis Katsa, and hopefully give insights that can help me personally and everybody that's watching this conversation. So thank you very much, Hotman.
Tell me out. It's a pleasure. Just
to start this conversation, obviously when you agreed to do this interview, I did a lot of research about you, and to my amazing amazed is that everybody who I've asked now like knows you to the deepest. They thought like you are like some type of an icon, ekasi in a way. And one of the biggest things that I was fascinated about is Hotman a figure in this position and what really makes you you. Because everybody has their story of a purple, and then you are a mafia, so everybody has their own story in a way. So from you, I would like to know, Hotmani, most importantly, what is the biggest elements that make you you in a way? Skeem GP there.
I'm reminded of a song. Etiba mitsa kamabitso Emmanuel. Abanye bathi Messiah, abanye bathi Jesus, abanye bathi the King of Kings. No, Temba. A harmless gem, a guy who doesn't even kill a fly in China. So, ganing mabang introduce the people that would say Utemba, abanye Skeem GP, abanye, abanye bazabati pastor, but I always say okubalekile ukuthi ngumntana kaNkulunkulu. So for me to be who I am and what the essence that make Utemba Lukele is just being humble, and also being a bona fide Christian has actually molded me. So whatever is going on, it's a cherry on top, but I don't usually focus on the noise, If you remember the story of Jesus, Jerusalem, busy clapping hands, but because we're on top of a donkey, so this donkey ended up smiling. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes, and also, good danger, abantu busy back chair. They will cheer you to the grave. So we must have limits, and you must know when to stop and how much is enough. So I'll forever remain humble. And we couldn't have busy fake humbleness. So that's the attitude that I have towards life. So yeah, Temba, timer, 5. Wow. I love kids. Kids are a blessing. So abantu abababa nokuzibuza ukuthi endoda, and then umntwana mawubona wande abantwana inhlupheko ngithi mina nginenye feel, I love kids, hence ultimately ended up opening a foundation because I believe in the prophecy of giving. The Bible says give as you give unto the Lord, and the Lord shall give back to you. So I've been so blessed, but it is just because of the grace of God upon my life.
Wow, Hotman. One of the things I picked up from you, and people must be clever, obviously, when researching about you, is that you have such a superiority complex. Like, like you approach things aggression. You chase your dreams with aggression instead of, I pick that up. So, do you, first thing, do you believe, approaching dreams with aggression, with that thing, you're going to believe in you so much that I can do this is a good thing. And number two, to what extent can somebody be aggressive in terms of, most importantly, chasing money?
Aggressive in the grand term, but now I always say there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. So omunye umuntu uba too confident actually ukuthi ngayazi njengokuthi baba ngakubuza ukuthi can you sing if you know ukuthi mina kahle kahle ufana noLucifer but bekana 7 voices in one voice. So if you know yourself ukuthi mina I'm solid and I can sing, if you say le ngayibulala ingoma, you are not arrogant but you are being confident. So sometimes you could mistake the confidence the arrogance, but at times abanye abantu ke they get big head. So umuntu olophi bamka credit where is due, and then you feel good manje I'm superior over any other living being. Then that's when ukhona ukubona makune gift ne talent. When you are gifted more talented, but ezinye izinto ukwazi ukuzirehearsa uyiperform into uyirehearse baze bathi lo muntu strong ngayo. Lento sibiza perseverance. When you push a car and the energy phele, the energy that you apply to push that car yiyo le persevere. Upusha sekuphelele utaya kusana nix. So I energy yokuchase inyuku ne attitude but into igijimisa iyabaleka. So you must always be careful also with ma we chaser, you become strategic ngayo ngoba there are many people about fraud, and when you looking at them you might mistake them as abantu baposer as holier than thou, and as if they've made some considerable amounts of money such that imali yabe ingavalilanga only to find ukuthi umuntu muhle ngeplay. You can act kunomuntu one 2 meter. When you have 2 million, I can convert that into 200 million. Somebody, when he sees me, you might, somehow feel or think, hey, this man, he's solid. Gandhi, no, it's just my gimmicks. Like social media. In social media, it's so in your face such that noma singakaze sibonane bangukubona ngifika ngihlangana nawo Skeem umuntu wazi ama-crisis wazi nentsumpa yakho because we always see one another yebo mara leyo nto leyo ngihlale ngithi be careful entwaneni zami bangiziteacher even egele ukuthi no kumnandi ukujwayelana mara kune-danger ukujwayelana kabi. So kumele sijwayelane etahola but singajwayelani kabi. Mangikubulisa ngiyakwazi mara ukuthi ngikujwayela kumelanga sengikubulisa ngikushaya nenhloko ukuthi ngizokhenya.
Wow. Into yokuqala before we go very deep, because from just that answering thola into ezibhaya that ngifuna ukuzicava. Into yokuqala, confidence. How does I'm very biased ngicanye ukukhuluma about young men because I believe I'm a young man myself. So selfishly I'm trying to find out things about myself. So number one, how does young men build confidence?
Well, firstly, I think you need to believe in yourself, and then also self-respect. Ngoba issue intwana zami is teach hygiene qala, yabo. So if ungekho grand in terms of makeover yakho, of course, let's say ikhwapha liyanuka, le nto leyana iyakushaya kuba ne-low self-esteem, so confidence is eroded already, ama-points ayayehla. Then also issue even esigela ngithi besikwazi ukuthi sifase ithekeni nani khona lebe ine-plug nje niyayazi ukuthi noma iyageja mara yena story iyaya leya noma diver ibamba kwasana. So leya nto ikhuluma yona issue ye-confidence. But if uzoya esigele for instance uyageleza kwenzeka imistake uyapisha, then you fail grade 10 grade 7, and then you have to repeat a class. The next thing abantu bebasemva kwakho bayeza ebo ama-senior wakho. So out zakho masezicrossing, then now when you are left alone to face the world with pain, so it will kill the confidence around when. So someone might also feel good, no, ukuze ngithatha plug eating ngithatha isikatavan babhizi bye. So the more you are high, you're chasing high and you are feeling good, no, I'm on top of the world. But immediately the plug mayisuka, it's only then you realize good, ne, I'm on my own. So maungenansang awuna plug awuna confidence mara mawunkawuzile ziyakhala. Omunye umuntu bayakutshela ukuthi insange kwenza into yiyo. Mawu extremely intelligent bakubona la ukuthi kunehe farlek. Lo mtshita lo nokuthi mawutsenza ikofi or mawutsenza itiye makungena sugar it gets honey gets the same sweetness, life goes on. So you become very fast and sharp. Mara also there's a catch good thing eyale confidence esikhuluma ngayo, because like I always talk to my young boy uNjabulo, I extremely handsome. Beauty is an understatement. Le nto uyayibona ukuthi ne showcase and ngize ngithi kuye mzala lento lena ingajiki isibhayizisa, because please call me mara you must understand that le nto ngeke uyiconvert to revenue. Asiqale sibuild isaka kuqala out esedladini before siyospina senza into ezibhedayo yathi kimi Themba I believe in two things i-country ime ngenyuku ime nge-treasure mayiphethe i-treasure uphethe security umnandi so what is security? Security imali so if you don't have money noma ngathiwa namhlanje kuyini ebhosolo lekushoniwe bazoba babuza ukuthi manje uCharles simele or singameli bathi uza nani bawana nyuku bathi asingcwabeni lo muntu uza nani.
Damn, you know, I've picked up something here, man. Ukuthi confidence is not really built by mindset. Like ukuthi uhlale and then uthi okay, mele be confident, motivational speaking and then re-say things. I think there's a level of practicality that has to be applied, like hygiene, like lento kuba nemali, like having abilities. So what do you think in terms of the mindset part of it? Ukuthi, can you build confidence theoretically, not practically?
Nezwar, let me paint a picture. When I established nightlife, I was one of the first people actually abezenale idea. Bekunabo vilakazi street Soweto, and I said no man. Ngai ngathi kuslopinyana, it is zamukuthi sizena something. So all roads were leading to a scheme. So I came up with a vision, a number plate, and then ngathi Skeem GP. Then but vision yami ukuthi ngibe ne scheme in all 9 provinces. Mangiya ngale Northwest ngithi Skeem NW, mangise FS Skeem FS. So ngalesikhathi sama news cafe. So it happened ukuthi Leandao was actually thriving. Yabona ngokuthiwa beauty was an understatement. You could tell because mangimamele ku Radio Metro babekhuluma about all roads are leading to a scheme and this was VAR. Phela abo Collisons izinto abo Camel Experience izinto eziqale ngara. So at that time I mean abantu ababhayi balende overtime bava straight by Soweto. Mara manje mina ke kwaba kunale cross between sekune nightlife ngayi. Abantu bakwazi ukufaka ama stiletto insider sekuyagezwa. So amagama I gave birth to a nightlife. If I may say so for myself, immediately after a scheme, I could count more than 22 outlets avuliwe copycats amanye. But it's good because it was business and also uzenge vision. So now if ngiphethe vision 2030, it simply means when I'm actually one, you are the future. You understand? Mara ke there is something that I wanted to say. Build the story sam. Kunabantu aba strong or kunabantu ababona mentally or physical or financially bathi simnandi. Mara umuntu wakhona akakhuluma nimboni anywhere. I've seen people mina after baphine indawo only then sekane voice manje. After sekane nyuka ngithi lento yamthatha yam amplifier now so yaziwa. You were an unknown and an underworld, but as soon as you party new mfo lento it's normal. Amachita baya you are not humble, it's because of man.
I've always said it. I've always said, angazi if I should get on this topic, just kancane and then derive to something else. But lento leyo ukuthi imali is a huge part of life, and sometimes there's people who settle for less, but they think they're in love with the less. I don't want to make an example harsh, but some people get married to women that they don't really love, but they just settle in because if ngahlukana nalo muntu ngomthola pho umuntu futhi.
Yeah.
Does it happen, that thing? And how can other people avoid it? If we as born now, I'm in this environment, I don't have money, and this is what I have to settle with.
You know, ngizoyenza example something very complex, yabo. I might be unpopular for this. A prison makushizilwa umuntu uyabhanta into abayamgweba for whatever crimes committed or not, because ngihlale ngithi abantu abasentencwa baye ejele because bagangile but basento it's court because the court has to prove beyond reasonable doubt. That is why kunabantu after some time bayaphuma ejele, they are integrated. So I've been in the most of places and I always say we danyani, reject of the society, black sheep of the family, and I mean and all of those derogatory terms or names. So mawufike danyani uhlangana ne group yamadoda, and these are people from all walks of life. Abanye babuye Ghana, abanye babuye China, abanye ni 35 eselinele 1 70 ibhakede li1. So le ndaba yakho ukuthi bo strong ngaphandle uNtswembi yaphela. So le nto ikwenza ukuthi uqale from humble beginning. So you are integrated. Mawuqeda ukuphuma, fast forward immediately sekumele ungene ku relationship. Amachita bhaya, they don't want to face amademon wawo and start all over again. And badlala mina I always say I'm playing catch up because bengila mara uloku bhizu zama ukupesha because ukwahlala iminyaka emide and izinto zamosakala. So ama out abhaya avela thatha short left angene ebantwini ke ufika uthola ithekeni. So that woman, you are going to be in accordance while izinto sesemnandi, but remember she built her own empire. When you are coming to plug in, so you are feasting on whatever that she has built. I mean, you create a hedge of fire around her life and her finances work. Then when you are coming with your mentality, I always say, if you've got ulterior motives, things that don't see the light of day, but if you are pure at heart, God looks into the heart, and if your heart is pure, you get favor with men, and ultimately you will find favor with God. So you make a mistake by now falling or in love or faking ukuthi ngimnandi nalithekeni, you must understand ibhomo ezobuya. You would feel ngaba zange waphuma edanyane because ithekeni azifani nathi. Ithekeni makuthiwa kune flop noma ingakubhayela ini, iya repossessa baba, iya reverse. And mayiqedile ayipheleli da, thatha ipiki izibeke ngaphandle. Tshele the whole world. And remember, umuntu onegama bokuwe bewazi ukuthi angiyapusha. Insize noma kuthiwa ine flop, iflop layo elikhurut lensize ukuthi bathi itholakele ise flopini or bayibambe omunye umuntu ayishaya, then into engathi it is disgusting. But fanderaf ayikho enye into eyiflop. Wena mawi out okokuqala kusho ngamagama usabuka uspin usabe intanga zakho, then uspina kule thekeni. So le nto leyana ivele ibe ne turn around very quick. So amajita bhaya kwesinye isikhathi kuba blind to rise above the storms of life because ube na ulterior motives and uze ngomthangala. So ngamanye amagama sibizi shortcut. There is no shortcut in this journey of life. Masibuya thina abanye ngithe okay whatever khambile asibhoweni viye kabusha, then the day umile akunamuntu ozofika kukhombe. Angimamele uZonda Shumela the other day athi mfethu ayikho into ebhlungu njengokuthi kube nomuntu owazi into zakho. Say we out or reacher nihlele kamnandi nenza into zenu nithi decide ukuthi na social media iloku inifakela ipressure, abantu bayahamba bayazitape babaqeda ukuzivideorize, ivideo iyalika ibanje omunye umuntu mayibanje omunye umuntu uthi le time bengithi njalo mangihleli ku Radio Zulu makumele eqala ishow yami ngene iSMS ithi mfethu yawakhipha labanyuthi or senza njani. Ayikho into ebhlungu njengokuthi omunye umuntu akwazela into zakho awuthiyami because uhlale ukhombekile nge38 ukuthi anything anytime ingasuka.
That's harsh realities. Angifuna ukukhula. Yazi we going forward and before siya phambili and can I take it a bit back, but I want to know ukuthi phela what you did was very big, like the nightlife, like that in Leo. I believe that there's a lot of people that have ideas and a vision. Sometimes some visions are very big and nice, but they just like 2%, the 89%, the 98% is the work behind it. So I'm trying to figure out in my mind ukuthi the capacity, we tap the capacity, okay, but the resources, the capacity, and then who did you have around you and in your mindset that enabled you to live vision Skeem GP the nightclub, the nightlife.
Yeah. Okay, generally we always leverage on certain things. In Gamla, usually kune estate gababak. That's why they go to an extent ukuthi ashabantu ngembazo bonke azosala kahle. Adli 10 meter, 20 meter patina. It's either umuntu uyaspina or soccer player. Besazi makuthuthi akudumile, it's either a soccer player or umuntu isigebe. Simple as that. Ungene Sprayview, ungene Katlo, ungene Khumalo, bekuleyo vibe. So sometimes kuba peer pressure, then to be tempted by ability, it's not a sin, but yielding into temptation is a sin. So some of us yielded into that temptation. But of course, the issue of black and also good moment. I'm not a man anymore. I'm a steering in my life, and I cannot be a core. So let me just face this. But I wanted to leverage on lending it new. Then mara if journey yami bengingayanga as first stop ngiyangiyoplowa mara lapha bengitshela ukuthi nje ngiyatraspasa ngiyadlula then ngikwazi ukuthi ngiyobuild ileve yamampela. Unfortunately, you know, ileve inokuzikhethela into zayo. But when I sat down now and I look back in retrospect, I always say, esan maybe vele bekumele yenzeke dide ngabe namhlanje ayikho incwadi, ngabe namhlanje ngimotivate ekele, ngabe ngiye emajele futhi kuyoringa nabantu, ngabe ngeni ema churches nakuma communities, but because of the past ngichunde dide. Now issue yenyuko ngiyokamela ukuthi ngisipane inyuko ebhaya mara ngeke uyenze into you. No man is an island. I had to establish a team, so a working committee. I got there's a young man called Paul. He was working with EKCRFM as well. So Paul ngathola Eddie was an advisor, sort of a lawyer / lawyer. Ngathola Herbert Hadebe, he was a director kula masopi scandal and then namachita ke a few Mapuza TQ AJ amachita ngispana now. So ngathi mina because ngiphethe resource now uNkulunkulu when uba ne vision then he brings provision. So mina I had that provision and a vision at the same time. And ngapha ngisustain into zikaNkulunkulu. At the young age, at 15, I was a youth leader at my church. So issue at church, it's not about faking. Mangithi I'm a bona fide Christian. Sizenza izinto kunjalo. Abafundisi bakhona ethiwa uthepathepile urepila lokho umfundisi a man of cloth. So sometimes we hide behind the facade of holier than thou. So that is why I always say, whatever uchunayo, sometimes ingathatha isikhathi eside blind. When I told you to fail, mara mina ngwazile ukureport edanyana, it's because when you were able to hide your shenanigans. It's not that when unano runenhlanhla when ukwazi ukufihla into zakho. There are people today mawukhuluma issue yenyuku, it's so sad when you look at politicians and other people who are squandering inyuku and badla inyuku serious. Thina kube ne-flop because already you are an enemy of the state ngoba into bozenza bowuthatha inyuku ngama-unscrupulous ways. Mara when you look at these people, even emaklabhini awuthi angeke siyicompare. Mina ngangena eklabhini, I could pay ibill ya 15,000. Mara leyo nto leyo bekushare. Bethi mangena eklabhini bengazi ukuthi abantu abayi-8 abayi-10 abayi-15 bazoshare. No la sekunama-rope kunama-bouncer. Ukubonakalisa the selfishness and the greediness. I can go deeper. I'm just saying I don't justify my unscrupulous ways with ezinye, but I'm saying kukhona abantu abakwazi ukuvala inkinga zabo nginkinga zabanye abantu. Just because we're now in a position umuntu afika aqindezele kunomfundisi Vandag othamile akwazi ukuthi bathumele omunye umuntu afike le cherry bangirapile lona bamstriphe ubufundisi bakhe mabaqedile bamfaka kuma socials lo muntu life yakhe seyiphelile to build maqedile uyarelapse kwesinye isikhathi ushawa depression until asibhodisa. So kulukhulu ukuba indoda. So we must talk about motivation. We must not only take it as a mambo jumbo. These are real issues that affect real people. So that is why I'm very intentional. Whenever I get a moment and an opportunity, I speak to people. I don't talk to the mind or the head or the ears, but I talk to the heart. Mandela, if you are speaking to a man, you must not only speak to him in a language that he understands, but you must speak to him in his own language.
That's dope. Yo, as a Hotmail, to be honest, I'm getting this impression that I own a krache and as much as you've went to prison, but what is your lowest point? Have you ever gotten to that lowest point where you thought, pelile with Skeem GP?
Yeah, I think we have reached that rock bottom level. When you check, you must choose whether you're buying bread or you're buying data. And when you get home, you must always make sure ukuthi giza it's off. Mawufike fridge, as fridge mayangana kudla idumela phezulu kanjani. At some point I was driving. I remember when I was reintegrated, I went to go meet up with Dr. Mlapo, one of my mentors. So when we got there, already petrol sale idile karin. But now I'm asking myself, ngikhuluma namachita lawo bengwajwayele, ngifuna nje e-wallet 200 rand. And ngise mid-rand. I was staying in Greenstone, mele ngibuyele move. You know, yonke lento ngiyayibala ngithi uyazi lento ine range. Ilokhu ikutshela ukuthi manje seyisela kangakanani. Ngithe bangikhuphuka from JP's corner, BJ's in fact, lapha the bridge. Ike yacima yaba solid line ngaba emagama kusho ukuthi lento seyiku life support, but I had to soldier on. At that time ngivana nomama weNcosi ula and manje ngivana out yami uRay uMandla boy 3 lamadoda lawo iminyaka yethu combine I'm sure seyifika ku 140 na 40 years ona 39 na 38 mara maba ngathi siyanibulala manje keep on 10 rand asina ku blind kwamampela. And that time ngiphethe network yomhlaba mawuphethe ifone yakho yazi ku 10 digits into ziyenzeka. Only few people out here abaningi bebeza bazongibona edanyana into bebafuna ukuyibona ukuthi kwamampela i-orange yamfanele or ayimfanele une stress unama wrinkles akavela intshebe emhlophe. It's not like vele bekuyile pity party, but actually remember that you are doing things and you are making things move. And hayi abantu aba strong yonke lento le nto ihamba ibe nekwala. That is why kuyokwamela ukuthi very fast ngizitshele ukuthi a man for himself, I am on my own. Ngaface reality. I did not fake. Lento ukuthi kumele ngiye emaklabhini ngiyophoza ngenze nani. Ngaface situation yami, ngazihambula. The next thing I know, let me press a reset button. I told the team ebenginayo ukuthi gents, we are going to start all over again. uNkulunkulu usigaye a gift of life. Ayikho into edlula dideng. So we should be grateful ukuthi at least we can wake up and go buy bread masfuna and come back and you know think ukuthi singakhona ukwenzani just to better and change our lives. And abantu benginabo they were helpless because both of them beba qeda uku-integrate nabo kwamabhanditi self. So ngamanye amagama sinanekile sidakwe sonke. It was that bad.
Wow. Yazi mawukhuluma ngale situation, I've never experienced or been exposed to such, but into engiba exposed kuyo as the common thing sesizazi unemployment. I know a lot of people angiphumesikela nabo currently they're not working. Bacabanga ukuthi the world is over, ukuthi kuyafana ntwana ngizwenzani, and yazi umuntu makakubuza ukuthi okay ngizwenzani ke, and then now you're like fuck okay angayenzani lo muntu lo, because most of people that we know are in disadvantaged townships. Yazi khona ama township there's no library, there's no nothing, there's nothing a person can do. But then mawukhuluma like from the perspective that you talking from ukuthi pantiti somdala, but you managed to pick yourself up. And I'm looking at a person who is young. The problem is there's no employment at the current moment. So how do we advise that person, or what can a person in that situation do in a way, a young person who feels like,
you know, there's no excuse in to life. Shortcut. Let me just paint a picture. No less in our country, we know opportunities are there. At first, there were two options. There was corner. Like, it's either being into a talent. But it did not see the light of day. For fun. So, you know, having said that, I had to decide, then, unfortunately, now, young so, what I'm trying to say, then and now, ngizongena also ngithathe kancane into politics, because at some point bekuguriwe kazi IFP ANC political upheaval, violence yaguriwe after iGND nekade into yamateksi. So edladleni, my house was chosen as a base. So bengidla nama AK more than 22 in one house. So being exposed to these weapons. So I had to find ways ngoba ngintwana beyine plug vele ngatshontshika ne1 yaqala la ivurify yami. Mara manje mawungayibheka lento lena ama opportunities as opposed to now masiku 2023 and then uyihlanganisa no 1992. Eminyaka in between i-pipeline sikhuluma nge-democracy even though. So okokuqala ukwazi ukulayita i-cellphone yakho as a young man. The next thing uloku busy grow ama-followers, ushaya ama-gimmicks, ushaya i-PR and marketing yakho, i-YouTube yakhafa. Dayide engayidingi igani dayide. Then secondly, omunye umuntu wakhona ungena ahlale phansi and say think natural talent. Uyamimika nje ucheck abo AK, ucheck abo Casper and say that mangangena kulento le. Unokushaya ipopo nje one hit wonder feature umuntu one ziyakhala. So eqaleni baza abantu abengakho. There were only a few you know amongst amajita. Bawazi ukuthi netrompisi kunomuntu kunomandos, very few, a handful of people abebenza izinto sijiva ngabo even nange festive, but no last wonke umuntu celebrate. So that is what I'm saying. If you socially khona ukhafa ngaleyo ndlela and amabhiesa ketapha, I mean ama-fruit mane abongobo udume ngelikabani konje le outlet yase cash flow cash flow beze ngowabo umthangalo kahle wathi forex. So they call forex 1992 bengana forex. I'm just saying there's no excuse. I'm busy saying lo lapha ngi-amplify message. You know, it's like mawubuya ngani mangibuyele kamfeni usathana unendlela yakhe ke ukuthi amplify umlilo. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego bebangena lapha nesithangweni somlilo. And leya ibhoza ithi inkosi lo mlilo ngicela uphinde 7 times 7. So ngomama amagama if umlilo multiply fana ukuthi ngiyabuya ngina plan bafike bangigayigana. The only option ekhona mabuye ejele umnyango ovulekayo wejele. Ngeke bakuvulela umnyango uthamba. Nalabantu ozanabo nani namhlanje i-social media sokwazi ukuhlala kanje mawufika uringa lento le ingafika itouch umuntu ofair abroad. Lo muntu afika athi no, can I see this man? Ukuringa nje kwakho. So when we go to schools angiyenzi because lento kuthiwa ngiyifundela lapha ngikhophe kuphi i-passion, and also because ngiyakona ukutshela abanye abantu ukuthi no, there is no need. Thina sichunile mhlambe there were minimal options ukuthi singakhona ukumove. I'm not saying endladeni besihlupheka. Leyo kuzobe kuyi-fraud. Abazali bami bebabhalansile into zabo bezimove. Yes, besingekho rich mara ingosini zethu masithenga amabhoni besibhaya amabhoni, masibhaya ama-kids by kid beku-grandpa no last ama-opportunities nama-chances ukwenza inyuko abhaya over. So kunabantu abathi bona namhlanje ba-strong politically, and I'm just thinking to myself ukuthi had I yielded nami into that temptation ngathi thi ngicross nge-exile, because at that time bezizipakiwe impahla nganginothi blind ngangicrossa ngithi ngiyavaya. Probably Nama could have been a billionaire. One of the ministers. Mara, I don't need that. I can make it. I can start Namhlanje. If Gayton McKenzie is the president of his own party, big up to Gayton, by the way. So he has done the unthinkable. So when Abusa Kulmang issue a criminal record, how do you rise above the storms of life and stand up and be vertical above the ground after Sebakai criminal record, after so Pais Segile, Uikona Ganjan didn't. Unkulunkulu is not a God of second chance, but our God is a God of many chances. As long as if your mind is set and your attitude is right and your heart is in the right place, I am telling you, it doesn't matter whether it's take 10, 20, 30 years. Time is not of the essence. You are going to make it in life.
That's very dope. Yazi, when you talk a lot, especially in your talks, you doing a lot of community work. Into ngifuna is number one, what's the main objective behind it? Because you're doing a lot. It's not like you just go into schools. You're doing everything you can to develop communities. Number one, what is your overall vision? And number two, how can other people who have the same vision as you but don't have the resources, but feel like, yo, I would like to join into your, or plug into your vision? How can they join in?
It's just to build an equitable society. Vision yami, one. I want one day when I die, a statement esibhaliwe nje sithi I had a good life. Finished. Not intending angifuni itoritori zokuthi ngenzani. Obituary omunye umuntu incane 2 line but wazalwa wadla wafa. So awuna impact. So I believe in system yama jumping cables. You must be able to open your lid or your bonnet. Then I could give you my jumpers. Ngikhona ukuthi ngipushe nami. You understand? And also abantu le ndaba yokugidla yokulala ayikho into esikhona ukuyithola nje yami. You know, uvuke ekseni mawuthi uyabheka abo DJ Sbu ngo4 ekseni ushutile saka flightini. Hawo emadoda nini nebusuku sakalendile ukuphi. So if ubuza mina ukuthi how do you know ukuthi abantu successful today? It's because those people, they have unlearned some certain things, bafunda new ways zokupusha. So young people, they must unlearn some certain things. So I'm just trying to sum up the question there esikhuluma ngayo ngoba in my past life or my previous life or in my primitive years, I've noticed ukuthi no leso sikhathi leso kwakuthight nyana but bekungafani nando, even nama sentences bewalighter. So ukuriska risk, but no less, unokuya mfethu wenza mistake one, a stupid mistake you'll regret for the rest of your life. Bakushaya life sentence into yakipel or bakushaya ngegani. So lento in a catch. And also mawuthi uyavana it niyospina manje akusena abantu abaspina nami igcwele impimpi. Omunye umuntu enehlana ayithiwa ni 15 sekareni loba mfakisa ikepisi orange ne short pen nizwa kukhala inayipa kukhala umlilo, the next thing 14 people babhodile. So we cannot allow a situation where abantu they are dying like flies. Kanti sengi-aware ukuthi no ngoba mina I've seen the light. Abantu vethu mabatholi light namhlanje ngifuna ukukhombela umuntu owani okwashela irecipe yakhe ukuthi imali uyenza kanjani. Ngizokubamba ngesandla uthi Katie Mackenzie said to me, Skeem, ngeke uphume edanyani ngithanda i-attitude neplug yakhe. Uthi I know ukuthi kunabantu abatrustayo, not to mention names, but lawo bantu labo ngicela ubuyele kubo bayi-2. These people are superpowers, politicians abakhona, very close to me. Umunye usakasi yami, umunye just around the corner. La machita lawo ngilo ngiyaya nawo wathi outle ngicela ume until one guy noma ngabe 250,000. Labantu I know ukuthi they've got millions, if not you know they're gunning for billionaires, but ngifuna one a guy 250,000. Let me give you my pledge. I'm going to times it mina ngizoyi multiply ngifaka another 250 because I want to help you writing your book now ukuthi khona ukuthi visualize your dreams. Ngicela ukuthi uvaye ubuye the day ngizogada 3 months. Within a month I was back ku-18 ngithi awuthi akekho umuntu ozokusiza nje. I am back, I'm humbling myself. And never, like I'm telling you, never. Le out leana at some point ngayimela le out ngikhumula sime labi ona khona indawo noKenny. We spent 3 hours no Raymond simela u-18 3 hours. And le out yafika mayifika itemfet man apologies bekune traffic enzima nani. And because bengifunde ngifuna yathi mfethu indlela zami zokudutsa ngiyakubona lento ayifuna so bad. I mean uva ejele mfethu ungekho ku social media boku 0 followers, but within few months, social with 10,000 followers, I can see that you are aggressive, Malend. And Skeem, if you know that you know this is you couldn't have chosen any other path. Lamfane, you're on the right path. Take it from me. What you push and the attitude, the mentality to move. Following day, segment book 18 is facility is your sign. Must offer bange rivone traffic. I was late in 5 minutes. Ngamtola shy suit u18 shy pandele kuch ne party kuch. That man begame purchasing. Access u18 wise all. Nime 3 hours. In 10 minutes, what to 18, the deal is off. But I don't wait people. I don't wait for people. People wait for me. So Skeem, it's either uzomnigaza an elevator pitch. Say whatever that you want to say. You know, I almost lost the injection ka-18, but later, wa injector 150,000 rands. Encwadini yami. Umuntu ofuna ukukusiza uthama uzoba intentional. Uzokunceda blind. I always see you are pushing namakhotmana abo DJ Sbu. You know, you need people who are called destiny helpers. Someone ozokwazi ukuthi akhiphe ifone angekho. Wena njengoba siplome kanje kunomuntu okhona ukurecommend sekunentwana ezenza itayile kasi mara kunomuntu owano lokacophatala eziyadlala futhi zinokuya ngala kama guests ziyadaba zime kancane. Umuntu strong uyambona time spendable lacks abantu firebrands. You just need someone who support the vision. You don't need asindlebe zembongolo ngeke singene draw, but because of jealousy, envious, the competition, that's why we don't grow all the time. Abantu babahamba bagibelana sebenzela nje ukuthi esani lo mjita why abe and worst part uzoyifela lento ukuthi kwaba strong before. So no last so we double jeopardy ngambile ngayidanyana linenzwathi yalo. The next thing ngangi strong kunabantu abathi next samele phela sithi qala lo ndoda akakwazi ukungafika avuke futhi ngabe kumhlolo no ukubulala ngakubulala straight abantu njani straight 99. So that is what I'm saying. Mawuyibheka le issue esouthini it's not only what you know, but it's what you can prove. So if you can't bring anything into this party, so it simply means the muntu useless. So labafethu bayathula bahlale bamamelane. So destiny helpers is people ozokwazi ukuthi baphakamisa ifone. I holiday uTJ Sbu ngithe man bafo ngitawe indlala into zami zimile nathi emfethu zwakala sese massive metro ngishaya icar mangifika emfethu mamela angifuna ungeexplainele izitori ezibhayanani. How can I help ngithe emfethu man ne man le ama airtime petrol nana wathi aneshapa kuna flop ngikuzwile nje yami sizoring ngibele icar yami mangiphuma ngegate nani kwangena 10:16. I'm just saying I know ukuthi Usbu wouldn't be happy ukuthi ezinye izinto ziphat you give credit where is due. Awuteke yavela for mina yafika yathi kunabantu engathatha ngithi mangifika ngithi ngikutshela lo muntu ne5 ngeke uzithole kuyi. I've assisted and helped people nami ngokwamself njani babhodile abantu ngabangcwaba kuthiwa kule family sometimes uchasana nabantu umuntu akutshela enye into na uzuthuka ukuthi mfethu athi uyakhumbula wayenza 1 2 3 4 5 bakhona bomawude I've done things stuff makahlangana nami uhlala ngitshela ukuthi mfethu yazi wayenza 6 7 8 9 10 bengine influence and ngaba le Hotmail ethi okay asidleni sonke kune political party islogan sayo besithi sodla sonke no last umthangalo straight mfethu abantu babhizi bahlangana ayikho dide masihlangene thina inkinga ukuthi siyaphikisana asihlanganeni samajita siform into e1. I'm doing an ex-offenders in Bizo now on the 3rd of March. Usually I host a big parties on my birthday. No party they say. But instead I've invited people abazo influence abantu in a positive way. So if we offend you, it simply means we can afford you. So I've invited dynamic speakers. Or would let them come. Department of Correctional Services ayizwakale nayo sikwazi ukuphikisana kanje. Podcast yethu ipusha the same narrative with gents. Mawungaphako it's almost impossible ukuvuka. In fact, I've buried more than 5 people since Mphume Danyani outzam. The guy was my right-hand man, Nathan Maduramutu. He killed himself 2 months ago. Ingwadi Zam will never be the same. My editor killed himself because of it, depression and judgment from people. People, they don't accept you. I'm saying an Indian guy. Can you imagine in our community? It's because the cake is very big. Lesingwa sikroti loaf, 2 slices with bagay off ramp. They will never do that. But I've seen, I won. You talk to people, you can't finish a sentence. Yabanda bapaya, mabai 100 aband, nesho with 70%, they will mention his name to say this guy opened the door. That man, he's intentional about his pansak. May the good Lord bless him. Because very few out there individuals share stories and give you a heart-to-heart experience. Selfish. God has blessed me a second chance. Is not a God of many chances. So I said, this second chance, I'm going to make sure I live and lead an honest life.
Wow. Yo, I get it. Man. You know, one of the biggest things that's going in my mind is the fact that we need to come together as a union. But when we come in together, everybody has to have value. Yeah. So Meluya is going to contribute into the equation or into the group. Number one, what is the 3 things that is most essential for a man to have or to build? If you are a young man, you know, Guti, at this age, I need to be extremely valuable. So what should young men be focusing on?
Substance. A man of value, you firstly need to have God. You know, I don't care whether you embrace Islamic religion, Buddhism, whether you're Shia or Nazareth, whether you're Sunni, the fact remains is you have to connect to the greater being so that ukwazi omunye umuntu. Kunabantu abakwazi ukukhipha ispan, kukhala iganda emalangeni fethu. I mean, abo DJ babhore kabuhlungu. It's because at times you look at these things and ubona ukuthi yazi umhlaba sewuchangile kufana naqala. So a man has to have God. Firstly, ayikho into handsome or ethandekayo njengendoda ethanda uNkulunkulu. Ungafika uhlala ubabheka abantu nani and kuba negrace neglory kaNkulunkulu. We could walk into a place. I cannot go in and out unnoticed. There is no way. That will be witchcraft. So secondly, issue issue substance, issue yenyuko, currency. Currency izokuchintshela into ezibhaya. Firstly, mawunenyuka uthami, it will book the best healthcare services for abantwana bakho mabagula. Secondly, izobabhukela a best educational system makuthiwa abantwana bakho basescale. So if ungenanyuko, you can imagine uthami ukuthi isituation ebanjani. Into encane engeke ibhayizisa umuntu kuwe iyadraga iprolonge just because awunanyuko. So dieting, it is very important. But then also, kunale issue of self-respect. Ukuthi umuntu mela khona ukuzithiba, yabo lento ukuthi khona ukuzikhuza. Mawe awuthe one ukuthi yazini mele ngibe nama limits, kunama do's and don'ts. Then uyakhona ukuba businessman or solid, une mission, a vision, unama objectives wakho because you know ukuthi I'm not dilly-dallying. Kunabantu abanye any road leads them, because when you don't have direction, any road would lead you. So for you to be solidified and to be solid, you need to connect also, so that noma ngabe uthatha ama balances wakho ngishilo ukuthi whether uva inyanga, it's up to wena, but you need to connect somewhere so that was, and have somebody or a mentor. Now have someone or a mentee. Why would you be selfish? Kunabantu abakumentorile bakubonisa and you learn the ropes. Even to ufuna udlala iKaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, or ufuna kuJomo Cosmos, kukhona network out here. That is why I'm saying you build through other people or my channels na network. So mele le ndibe ispillage. You can never be an island out here. Kunabantu abakhonile, but you live a miserable life and you die a bitter man because you are selfish. So lobu selfish out here it demon idideng. I saw wish ngathi ngaba isermon one day la ngikhuluma khona nabantu abafew. Something happened the other day. Ngifike ngiyangena, so I was holding a position of head of operations with security. So we operated in 11 direct operations in the country. So at that time kuba an interview. So the CEO was sitting here, Leroy, and then kunamachita few. So then do you hambe, then you realize mawufuna ukugaba abantu ama opportunities ukuthi okay, i-opportunity lo mhlambe uyithola kanjani, lo uyithola through bani. Then kwaba khona lokuthiwa lo uyafela, and then beza kwi-option yami ukuthi mfethu, and then why are you advocating for this man? Ngithi this man kunomuntu ammentionile ngithe mangikhuluma naye ngaphandle, that person, I knew that person, so that person opened a door for me. So now I need to open a door for this man. Not because lo muntu kunjani, but I had to be firm, because this person, I spoke to him outside and he touched someone, and that someone opened the door for me.
Wow. Yeah, Hotman, I'm going to discuss but I have so many questions, and I'm hoping if we don't finish today, we're going to have another day. But into that I need some insight on is the impact of women in man's life.
Hey, Buffett, lelo demon le. Solo Ramaphosa we wati issue ye gender-based violence. It's a second pandemic. You know, if ufuna ukuphila grand, kuna makrotman mawuhleli nawo khabulisa fe akutshela ukuthi mamela njani. Zithule izinto lezi. Zama ukuthi uchase i-crown, uchase inyuku, uchase stability. Then le nto izoyenza ukuthi take care. Ne-health yakho ngeke deteriorate because omnandi nenyuku. Secondly, i-issue emedi be secondary if not last. Because imedi kunama issues nyana afew ama distractions. Firstly, kunama energies out here. Lo cheru hlaba ile out, ashawele eksasa, ashawele le ibulala abantu, le yapeta yafutha, le ithwele ama energies wala abo khamors ada. Mawufika uya downloada nawe lapha uyabuya negonorrhea yonke iphelele. So whether you are cleansed or wenza zijive didings, because we may take them light, but these are experiences, some of us esikhona ukudlula kuzo na somehow mfethu sine busy yethu sina open up tota abafundisi tota ubani akekho umuntu ongafika athi mfethu anginasona. Jesu wathi ne cast the first stone manithi nonke ni clean none uthi akanasona yazikhohlisa akanaqiniswa neqinisa likho kuye. So I'm just saying excuse me, for young boys mawuhleli or for young men and mawucabanga issue ye relationship, kunabantu vandag into zeimpilo zabo ziphelile, it's because of the thing. Asikhulume ngetheory nje eyomshado. Le nto angikosho ngayo nami ukuthi ngisengi in between, uyabona, ngisazama ukuhlanganisa ngine meeting la head office enqondweni yami ukuthi le nto ngiyangena or ngiyaphuma. Uthrowa nomuntu niba na 100 million, the day ni divorce lo muntu wena umthola isenteni or umthola bhayiseka nani mele ni share 50-50. So now izinja zakho ubloma nazo wena bona Lamborghini, Ferrari nejet immediately. So hambile into zakho sezi. And also kunabantu to an extent ukuthi kuzokhishwa isipano ukuthi nelo mfethu lona asimashisa because uvale izinto ezibhayelo, izinto zimile. So angifuni ukwenza a racial thing ibe sexist or kube issue gender ukuthi feminist or feminism or I'm just saying issue yama out nayithekeni ngicela umuntu abe solid so that wena uzoba a defining factor, you understand, because we need to separate powers. I'm not saying lega 50-50 anginankinga nayo, but le nto siyayikhuluma because sekunayo democracy, sekushoda neinkukhu zigoloza ukuthi Sunday sinqunywa too much singasanqunywa because abantwana bayagoloza esikolweni, corporal punishment bebasemura murdu bakhipha idatha bakuvuvuzela nawuzi ukuthi ngishayile ke le mizi ube nekwali kusasa ubuyibulisa ikushayela ukuthi awuyibulisi vemis uzuqwala. Uyangifastana. I was happy to see ama developments lapha eKatlong technical esgele kungene ingamba. I did a video the other day ngithi mina yabona lento yokupoliticize yonke into nani politics la engangeni khona, asike sicheke nama facts. izinto zonke awuthanda bekune Paragon la eBioscope nina mhlambe benzise intwana besiya la bekune cinema bekune Cinelax besiphuma sikwazi ukuthi siye besingagibeli siya iskate bekunama Bioscope yonke rayirenga is eroded sekuyi history sekuyi past in fact ziphelile didengs why it's because of isandla nale color and masiyenza into ekhala ingazibe west but ingamlifikile mfethu kune turnaround kunesasigele only school esine swimming pool vandag laphana kuyaplan i-horticulture yakhona ayisuphansi i-autism ezibhaya eskim mfethu awuna connection yada awuna teacher or umuntu omaziyo ngifuna ukufaka incosi yami da why it's because leadership you have touched on the issues of leadership so leadership Dr. John Maxwell uthi everything rise and falls on leaders so whether wena bakukhethile ngemistake lana as a street committee the fact remains you are a leader into important what do you do about the position lo itholile it's either uzova sex abantu babantu ngepower mayicedile ukubhayizisa into yakhona so I had to touch kancane le issue eyokuthi abantu abaningi bana le ngqondo yabo ukuthi ne mina vele ngeke ngize ngichintshe uSatan is irredeemable so is other people.
Yo, before we move into other parts, because sing man, I'm a topic I'm ngifuna ukuthatha ku. I just want to finish this one ayabo taking empilweni zamajita. There's this thing especially for young men, it's why you could see like it's very unusual to be out young and then out taking out shying cows. So what advice would you give to a young man who wants to build their life, but there's that peer pressure of it's normal to date and they need to date, but we all know Guti, you don't need to. But what advice would you give somebody who's in that position?
Ushaya kanjani inkawuza udry nje yami because ma udry excuse me beka nje straight people vuka kahle nokuvuka after lunch umuntu one stress out time noma kungawina lead ipipili yawo ipipili sensitive akusinto nyana okuloku busy uyihlangahlanganisa ipipili kumele ulihloniphe blind kunenyawo time ukuthi angifuni ukuthi ushaya izandla mangibhizi mfana ngoba iveliwe le setup very sensitive so ingqondo yakho banokukutshela enye into ekukhenyayo livele iwi setup so awumanage nje yami u69 ele unoma ubani you understand and mawuyintwana bamba umoya banokukutshela ukuthi amfana kithi noma ngabe uyogijima why amajita camp amakudlala idisk ukuthi event abaye nini kuthiwa njengale club edliwa too much ithiwa inkinga amajita ngathi awasakhambi babhizi ngalento le awukhumbula ipoza le Felix inokufika itawe uyambona lokuthi ukhotha lento umuzwa noma khuluma ukuthi uyabheda ukhotha lento so mawuyintwana encane uchase ini grand because into yokuqala ebalekile njami i1 currency njami yabona masingathi blueprint sigijimisa currency mawu on then wena ke kuba ibuffet seku optional sokubhede kumele udetermine ama facts unokusho nesikhathi sakhona njami unokungavuki ngalesikhathi kuvuka ngaso awuna sikhathi saka 8 to 5 9 ngoba yonke into ila kuwe you understand ukuthi nene ngitheshile wayimele ngibe under pressure but the issue ukuthi intwana sekumele vele zibone ngathi it's an obligation mele ziye ziyo 69 labantu ngizokutshela iflop ngalento okuhamba utshala ungene kwicabbage kwibeetroot kwionions nezambane abantwana bakho sekuyifam kwamampela it's because unongena une stress somewhere so wenzile ama flop njengathi ustresswe uthoko mawucedile ujampela ngayi kuswazi mawufika kuswazi uswazi na ufika hayi thingithi pinapex akuphinele ungena deep akutshela ukuthi oyina ungithembi why ungangeni ngeCalfoot ngena ngeCalfoot nezinja zami le north sithi hayi sivele sithatha iball pen sifaya kanje mayingawi lo mntaka 8 ngiyangena 99 so uza ngama theories amaningi it's witchcraft njani base intwana mele zibe neorder ngizenzile idayela but all lam benze sure that is why makungena filter ngena umuntu who speaks a blessing upon your life kunalento esibiza group dominant thinking umekhoneni kunentwana basking in the sun so layer group mentality yilo ezenza ukuthi akuthiwe mfethu hayi ngoba esinsikhathi yokushela omunye umntwana kuthiwa hayi sife why because unomuntu angamuzwa grand la then kunokufika thina sibizwa ngebar mawusuka wena uyochecka ngara imizamo kuthiwe yena le bar yangara hayi ma view uyangithola ukuthi ufuna ukuthini so leyo nto iyefaka le press so intwana bamba umoya i-influence yami ithi ngena ke if ufuna ukutrader funda kancane ama programs ukuthi kanjani uspana inyuku mawungabamba lento engikuchayela yona uthiyami you will never go wrong abantu abaphethe inyuku they determine uthiyami ukuthi manje uya ngawuphi umhlaba unumber 1 we country kuthi wakune flop makathatshwa ya collapse irand kumele ube strong ngaleyo ndlela ukhuluma ngokuthi yini indoda into ekumele ibe nayo isename kaMandela abantu ba leverage kuyo awuthiyami for you to be called a Mandela hayi into zakho zihlele kahle ukunje uMandela sebangabane bona bayiflopele lento ngendlela but isename ikhuluma enye into njani so igama lami isibongo sami ngivayile ngadanyana ngabuye ngidefender ngiprotecta yona ungayenza yonke into nani iyokuphela into enginayo se-ID so mawufaka le passcode iveliye ku Google same time iyakhipha angithi igama nesibongo ubona sibaleke kanjani singena ku Google isikhipha ukuthi uyipende ufila una nix or winokaro yini so igama nesibongo asil protect agents.
What I want to know is young people in the hood, how can they draw to platforms that can teach them more about topics such as this ones?
I think Google lenza life yaba simple because anything we type in njalo noma ngabe ungayishaya vele i-direct translation, Google will just pop up something. Then kune YouTube as well for ukuzama ukudiscover yabona. Not only ukuyogoogle kubonakala ama-porn and don't, and also abazali, I think it's important ukuthi slow busy keep tabs engosini zethu. Unokuthi uya-check ifone thola ukuthi ingosi futhi ingosi out igijimela la yabona. So i-content positive uyithole endaweni ezibhayi. Today sinabo DJ Spoo, sinabo God Pen. So banalento kunalo educational element ekhona la, but abantu abaningi abayifundi lento because life bahlala bananekile. Ubona ngathi yazini life is stress na ngokwayo, ngcono ngiye ku 156 or ingene ngale kumoja kuthiwe ubani uloye bani imfene ngale next door ingene ngaphi ya misbehavior, then ubani uthatha amabhodo kabani wafahlala. It's called trash TV. I'm just saying. Yeah. So estates lezi zinto lezi baye babuza boys to men ukuthi mfethu, what do you think of R&B South Africa? But hey, they sound like us in the 90s. So not maybe ngoba mpela mele acknowledge ukuthi maybe semuvanyana ngento ezithize. We are in the future for IR ifigile, it's real. Namhlanje sokhuluma nekar mawuthi uhambe ivele light cup yakutshela ukuthi emzala ngathi uyalala mele sayidini. Mawufika unokuthi endlini ama lights wayalighta manje unokungena izinto eziningi, ifridge izobikutshela nje ukuthi sekusala amaqanda ayi6 siyara. Mabalo babhizi ba digitalize izinto. So uzogcina ungasaphathi even inyuku kuthiwa mfethu siku plastic manje siku paperless. So kune evolution, and then we must just pick up a new direction and start working towards that way. We must revolutionize yonke into esibona. So anything umuntu acabanga ukuthi le ngayithuna, you can become. Mina ngibonile dideng ngami self ukuthi no man, I never thought ngabhala incwadi, but ngibhalile. I've got 2 books vandag ngathi amanithi ngibamba documentary. So mangibheka ngithi no man, ekaslam konje bani osabhalile ngithi hayi bazoza shuthi kahle kahle cishe ngisese future. And manje ngento ezipositive akumelanga futhi bese wenza inferiority complex uzibhekele phansi bese umistake le nto arrogance, the confidence. I'm confident ukuthi kunentwana ezincane ezizoplaka, and then the way narrative yakho ingakhona chronological order le yancwadi today makufika mgelezisa abantu vethu ku end makuthiwa i-mat finish incwadi bakhuluma ngani, bathiwa i-gloss ispine sencwadi yini, makuthiwa i-camera 11 ukutype ifuta header. So all of those things izinto engizigeleze ngendlela bengingakini ukuthi uthemba ngazijuna, but I ended up spending time behind bars, and I said no, I will never kill time. Of course umuntu unendlela akhandwe ngayo, but didn't strong over time, ingqondo is strong over thina sifuna ukuyistretcha njengerekere instead ufuna ukucatshangela. That's why ke kunabantu abasiconfine espacini kuthiwa politicians, the next thing bakhuluma into yabo. So if asifundile open your own political party, namhlanje uyaba independent umove. Kunabantu abastrong engibaziyo. I'm urging out on the 3rd ngibabizile ngale 3rd of March ukuthi abeze city of Mese Katlou. From that day we are going to redefine our journey. Ukuthi gents akusizi ukuthi lokubhiza ukhala nani, akunamuntu ozofika guys something, just forget about that out here, because abantu into khona baloku bafuna indlela zokuthi bakusokse even further. You know kungeyathi bengihleli naye ingenzela lento ye-invite ethi kimi bengisezimi athi lento engiyibona eSouth Africa out here it's a second coming. Athi lento mfethu ngathi deja vu ngeke ngayilala ngayiphila wathi into ngiyiphilele life whereby bengirana a big mining company. From there baqala badlinyuku, the same minister waba nama truck 100 in the very same system la beka minister khona ye-energy. The next thing lo muntu akaqala ama salaries asibhadala for a month, abasibhadala for 2 months. Kwenzakalani ngaphandle kimi-eJardies as we speak kuna 2 weeks and kusesingamleni la bangathathi idoti. So ama signs, when God afuna ukwenza izinto he uses the signs. Thekeni yakho mayikubhayizisa kuzoza umngane wakho akutshela athi mfethu le thekeni ayikho grand for wena, ubaleke wena ubalekele isani, kuzumama wakho akutshela athi into uzoba nenkinga. The 3rd time uzokhuluma uSathane, the day uzomthola abamenza busy, then you'd realize ukuthi esani uNkulunkulu usebenza ngama-sign.
So I'm very interested to know on the 3rd of March, what are you doing in particular?
Yeah, instead of having a big halabaloo party and having fun, I thought no, let me redirect my energies. A lot of young people badawa lamalanga yabona kuvula indawo ezibhayi and akusana control ekhasi. Mawuthebheke we are a lawless nation manje. Mawufike Katlou ngibengana amatende nami bekufike kungena i-team ifike ivali to Sunday tende mara every weekend namatende. So I thought let me just channel my energies endaweni positive. Amachita aphakiwe, amachita ananyuku, amachita unemployable. So kunento ye recidivism, ukuri-offender, they re-offend and go back to prison because that's the only option or solution. mabaphuma abanye baze babhode bazibhodise. So we want to educate abantu and teach also other people to unlearn some certain things. So it's called an ex-offenders imbizo, an ex-offenders conference, whether it's a webinar or a seminar, but we are going to spend the whole day where we are going to be indulging Zohlala Pans and talk about the sins of our youth and also inspirational speakers. Bakona Abo Pilika Ipembe, and then Ukona Ntantla Lux will be one of our speakers. I was about Ringara. Big up to Lux, and then Ukona Abo General Sibia, Ukona the chief of Metro Police in Joburg, Sis Angie, and then Ukona another general photos of Ekona. Okay, we're also expecting Minister Lindy Wazul. So it's gonna be a day where people are going to be fed a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and also just to revisit our journey and say, guys, it's not over until God says it's over. So abantu ababhaya, they are lost and out and for the last and the final count. So I'm just going to restore ubusha mama auti ubujens asikho ndlela le. And also it's not like yonke into seyiphelile mfethu. Noma ngabe kuthiwa umuntu na HIV eqaleni bovela uphuphuruke, amara manje bavele bathwasa basaphuphuruka, yabo. So kunendlela zokuspana. So come one, come all. So that we may be able also to extend the information. So it's a national initiative. We are going to launch a help desk. So an ex-offenders health desk, on a problem, you call the Skeem GP Foundation, they will be able to assist. Okay, what is your problem? It may not be immediate, but also we're calling out for diplomatic communities to come. We need partnership, not only sponsorship. We need to partner with people.
Wow, that's beautiful. And then how does people like gain access? Maybe you get patala or kune RSVP. How does somebody who is hearing this come?
Singana for free. City of Mercy next to Lindela Station. Mongene Katle Home. Then wangena ku www.skeemgp.co.za. Maranga share the number 071-5151-598 071-5151-598. Then you can also follow us on socials with SkeemGP_SA. Both on Facebook and on Instagram.
Damn. Oh, man, there's so much. Because there's so much I want to talk to you about. Maybe for another episode. But I want to get deep into the practicality of how to run a business, number one. And I'm super more about security companies. Yeah. Because I believe I wouldn't say we're heading for a war or anything, but it's a priority to protect as a man, even as a woman. And security is very important. So I want to know like the deep insights of how do you really start a security company, and also masculinity in a way. Like I want us to have a session just talking about masculinity. I'm so happy that on the 3rd of March, you're doing event surrounding that, and I'm hoping to probably but let's just close it here so that we can have more content for another episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Hotman. Otherwise, it was such a pleasure. Otherwise, this was ABC with Hotman Skeem GP. Otherwise, I can't wait for the episode. Otherwise, from me, Nduma.